All right, so we're diving deep today into healthy eating,
Deep dive.
but not just like the surface level stuff. We're going beyond the buzzwords and really figuring out how to make this work for, well, everyone listening.
Exactly.
And the cool thing is, we've got some awesome source material to work with. This isn't just theory, folks. We're talking over 14 years of real-world experience with meal prepping, practical tips, the whole 9 yards. So by the end of this, you'll not only understand why healthy eating is so important, but you'll actually have the tools to make it happen in your own life.
Even if you're busy, which, let's be honest, who isn't these days?
Right. Like finding time to breathe is a win sometimes.
Seriously. But one of the things that really struck me when I was going through all the research is how much this source emphasizes the real tangible benefits of eating well.
Yeah, it's not just about fitting into those jeans you've had in the back of your closet for, well, a while.
Not at all. It's about how you feel,
Yeah.
your energy levels, your digestion, even how well you recover from workouts.
It's like fueling your body with premium stuff,
Mm.
you know, giving it what it needs to actually function at its best. And it's not just the physical stuff either, right? I mean, the author even talks about how what you eat can affect your mood, focus, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
Which brings me to something I'm super curious about. This whole connection between omega-3 fatty acids and brain power. What's the deal with that?
Okay, so omega-3s, they're these essential fatty acids that your body can't actually make on its own. You have to get them from food. And they're a big deal, like really important for building cell membranes in your brain. And those membranes, they affect how well your brain cells, your neurons, can talk to each other.
So that's the communication highway right there.
Exactly. And that communication, it impacts, well, pretty much everything. Memory, learning, even how you regulate your moods.
Wow. So it's not just a marketing gimmick. It's real science.
Oh, yeah. And the source even gets into specifics, suggesting fatty fish, things like salmon or mackerel, as great sources of omega-3s. But also, plant-based options too. Flax seeds, chia seeds, things like that for anyone who isn't into fish.
See, this is what I love. It's not just about telling people to do something. It's about explaining why it matters and then giving them options, making it doable.
Right.
But let's be real for a second, because I think there are a lot of myths out there about healthy eating that make it seem, well, kind of impossible for the average person, like that whole healthy food is expensive thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic. But the good news is this source really breaks down that myth and offers some solid strategies for making healthy eating actually affordable.
Lay on us.
Well, buying in bulk is a big one, especially for things you use a lot. Grains, legumes, stuff like that. You can save a ton of money that way.
Here.
And then there's the whole seasonal produce thing. It's usually way cheaper than buying out-of-season stuff, and honestly, it often tastes way better too.
I'm with you on that. There's nothing like a perfectly ripe, in-season tomato. But what about people who are only cooking for one or two? Does buying in bulk ever backfire? Like, do you end up wasting food?
Oh, for sure. That's a valid concern. I think the key is to start small. Don't go overboard right away. See what works for you, what you can actually use. Frozen fruits and veggies are another great option. They last forever, and they're often just as nutritious as the fresh stuff.
Good point. Okay, so myth number 1, busted. But here's another one that I think a lot of people struggle with. That whole idea that healthy eating means saying sayonara to all your favorite foods, like forever. I mean, come on, pizza is basically a food group, right?
It should be. And you know what? The source actually agrees. It's not about cutting out everything fun and delicious. It's about balance and moderation.
Moderation, that's the key word.
Right. Think of it like a budget, a food budget. You've got room for the nutritious stuff, the things that make your body happy, but you can also have those treats. The important thing is to be mindful. Make choices that align with your overall goals. If you can't live without pizza night, maybe make a homemade version with whole wheat crust. Pile on the veggies. Get creative.
I like it. Okay, so we've busted some myths. We've talked about the why, the big picture stuff, but now let's get into the how. And this source is packed with, like we said, over 14 years of experience with meal prepping. So what are some of the biggest takeaways there?
One thing that stood out to me is how much emphasis the author puts on the mental shift that comes with meal prepping.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just about saving time, although let's be honest, that is a major bonus. It's about feeling in control of your food choices. When you open your fridge and you've got all these prepped meals, healthy snacks ready to go, you're way less likely to grab something, well, not so healthy when you're hungry and in a rush.
Yeah, it's like setting your future self up for a win. But I think for some people, the idea of meal prepping is kind of intimidating. They picture themselves slaving away in the kitchen all day Sunday. Any advice for making it more manageable?
Absolutely. The author breaks it down into smaller, bite-sized steps. You don't have to do everything at once. Maybe start with just prepping breakfast for the week, overnight oats, breakfast burritos, things like that. Or maybe you just focus on chopping veggies in advance, so they're ready to go when you need them.
Smart.
Another great tip is to cook in bulk whenever you can. If you're making lentil soup, double the recipe and freeze half of it. It's like giving future you a gift.
Totally. Okay, and even if you're not a full-blown meal prepper, the author also talks about these easy swaps, simple things you can do that can make a big difference, like choosing fruit over candy or having infused water instead of soda. Are there any swaps that you found particularly helpful in your own life?
Oh yeah, tons. I used to be a total soda addict, but I switched to water with cucumber and lemon, and it's been amazing. It's so refreshing, and I honestly don't miss the soda at all.
You know, that's one I've been meaning to try.
It's life-changing. Another swap I love is using Greek yogurt instead of sour cream or mayo in recipes. It gives you that creamy texture, but with way more protein and less fat.
Nice. So to bring it all together, it seems like healthy eating is less about strict rules and more about finding what works for you, making sustainable changes that you can actually stick with.
That's it, exactly. It's a journey, not a race. And even those small changes, when you do them consistently, they can make a huge difference in your overall health and well-being.
Absolutely. So on that note, I want to leave everyone with this thought. If you could improve just one area of your diet starting today, what would it be? What do you think would have the biggest positive impact on your life? Maybe it's drinking more water or adding an extra serving of veggies to your plate. Think about it. Make that change. You got this.
You got this.